Today we're going to look at a new tool called Feroxbuster, and if you're just getting started in IT or cybersecurity, it's one I would absolutely get to know and learn very, very quickly. It's a powerful web content discovery tool that helps you find hidden files, folders, endpoints on websites, things that you would never see just by clicking around on the browser. It kind of provides that list of, well, directories. Let's get into it. At its core, Feroxbuster, well, whatever it's called, it brute forces a website using a word list. It sends requests of thousands of possible file names and directories and reports back anything that the server responds to, even if the website tries to hide it. This means that it can uncover admin panels, log pages, development directories, backup files, misconfigured areas, sensitive internal tools. It literally goes through and it starts searching for all those little hidden tidbits of information that you otherwise may not find. And so basically anything that a developer might forget to lock down, this will find it. For my lab setup today, I've got Kali Linux running and of course Keyoptics Level 1. It's one of my favorite boxes to hack against just because it's easy. It's easy, and it provides that good, solid background that we need to use today. I'm going to throw Keyoptics Level 1 in the background. It's going to provide that web portal for us to, to try out things, right? Obviously, before we get started, I want to throw out those legal concerns that we've always got going in here. Stay on the white hat side. We don't want to use this tool on anything you don't own or don't have permission to run this tool against. Remember, we want to keep it on the white hat hacker side. All right, let's jump right into it. I'm going to open up Terminal right off the bat. Let me start blowing this up. And of course, first thing we need to do is run nmap. I know that I'm running on the 10.02 network, just like that. Let's run that command. It's going to tell me where that Keyoptics 2 is running, and I believe it's going to be right here. I think we're going to be at .5, maybe .8. Let's check it out. I'm going to do a quick ifconfig. There we go. I'm running on .8, which means Keyoptics is probably running on .5. I'm going to take a chance, and we're just going to hit it up here. All right. Let's run our first command. It's Feroxbuster. I can't talk today. It's Feroxbuster, just like that. And of course, you don't have it downloaded. We'll just stick that Y in there and let it do its thing. And this is going to take a second. Now, that only took about a few minutes to get it installed. Let's get right back into it. We're going to run Ferox. You know what? Let's just do the up arrow. There we go. We're going to run that command right there. I'm going to do attack you, and then, of course, our IP address, 10.0.2.8, wasn't it? No, it was .5. There we go. And we're going to let it do its thing. Now, right off the bat, we can see our target URL, our in scope. We can see threads of 50, and our word list, it's going to use just a regular word list. Now, we can customize that, which we're definitely going to do in a few minutes. What I really like about this tool is it shows us the status codes, and it color codes it, of course, right? It provides us that timeout, and we can see that get method associated with that. Now, we couldn't connect to 10.0.2.5 due to SSL errors. So to fix that, you can see right off the bat, it's running on HTTPS. We don't want that, so we're going to have to do the same thing, except instead of doing HTTPS, we're going to do an HTTP because our box doesn't use HTTPS. Let's throw that sucker in there, and boom! You can see it starting to come in right off the bat with its own little word list, and it's providing us some actually pretty good information. We're not seeing any errors yet. We've already found 89 directories or subdirectories going through it, and we can kind of go through and see what we're looking at. Now, if I scroll up, right off the bat, we see movies.gif, and here we go. We've got a manual, we got MRTG, we can keep scrolling down, and you'll point out these little cue points right off the left-hand side here, right? 200, you remember 200. You remember 200, right? We have 301 and then 404. Now our 404s, those aren't going to be very good for us. And so we can see the color coding right through it. Now, if I wanted to just kind of prove that it kind of works, let's go through and grab a 200. I'm going to grab this one right here. Right there. I can right-click it. I'm going to open link. It should open up Firefox for me. And we should be able to see exactly what's going on in it. We're seeing that it does provide it. There's nothing on this page, though, so it really doesn't give us any good. But I can start to go through and look and see what's going on just by using the tool available to us. And we've got those little icons right there. Obviously, because it's Keyoptics 1, it's not giving us anything. Let's try with the 301, and we can come through and see unable to connect. Now, if you remember from your way back in the networking days, we know that 404 is good. And 200 is okay. So what then is 301? It's moved permanently, of course, and so that's not going to work for us at all as we go through. All right, now we saw that just ran a basic scan for us, and we got some decent results, right? we could obviously go through all this and check it out. And we got some results that we know are not there at all. And so let's go through it, right? I can run a little bit better of a scan. I can do a recursion scan. This basically scans within the directory, within the folder. It's extremely useful for CTFs and pen testing because it builds a full map of the website structure when it goes through. So let's run that. We're just going to throw that TAC R on the end of it, just like so, and see if it doesn't give us a little bit more information, just to kind of go through and make sure that we're doing our due diligence when we see it. As that scan finished, we can see that we still have those 404s there, kind of pesky, kind of in the way. We are seeing a little bit more in there as we go through, but it doesn't really look like anything really great came out of that. We definitely have some more 200s associated with it if you scroll up, though. So we're getting a lot more in there. But you know what? I just don't like... I don't like the 301s, and I don't like the 404s. Can we do something about that? Well, yes, we can. We're going to do that up arrow one more, and this time, instead of attack R, let's do attack S, and let's say, you know what? I only want the 200s. I really don't want the 301s. I don't want the 404s. I don't want the I don't want any of that. I just want the 200s. Let's going to do that. It's going to go through, and now I don't have to look at all those red stuff. I can simply see what I'm looking for. This is kind of great if I just want to see the valid result. If I only want to see the interesting responses associated with it. So a little bit better on that end. Now as that's finishing up, we see that we've only got 78 results now, but they're all great results. They're all in that 200 range. And again, I can right click, I can open up that link, and I can still view and see what's going on. And look, we're just seeing that PNG for Red Hat right there with that one. All right. Let's look at a different command now. Let's say that I want to output it. I want the results, but I don't want to have to keep on going back to the same terminal screen. I want to save it. I want to see what's going on there. Very, very simple to do. We're going to do a TAC O for output, just like so. And then I just have to identify where I want that to go. I am just going to keep in this folder. I'm just going to call this one Theatrics 1, and then I'm going to do, I don't know, results, just like that. I'm going to, of course, put that TXT file in there and see how that does it. Now, this is going to save it for an output file. I didn't add another TAC onto it. I could have stringed it, right? I could have done not only output, but I could have also done that TAC S and removed and only shown that 200s if I really wanted to. But let's finish up this scan and let it go through its thing. All right, there it is. Now, if I want to, I can actually do an LS. I can see it, and look at that. My Theatrics results are right there. Matter of fact, I could do a cat right on that if I wanted to. I'm not going to. Let's say that I like what I'm seeing. I like the Feroxbuster, whatever you call it, right? But I want to use my own word list because let's be honest here, sometimes these word lists really aren't all that great. I'm going to throw a new word list in there. Let's do just like we did before. We're going to pop that up, and you know what? I only want the 200. We're going to do the 200, but then I'm going to go through and say, you know, do a TAC W. TAC W. Now I have to tell it where my word list is. My word list is inside the documents folder. Now I could just go to the documents folder if I wanted to. I'm not going to though. I'm not going to because that feels like it's cheating on the string. So to do that, I'm just going to do. I'm trying to remember. I think it's a / home, and then I believe it's user, and then documents. Got to make sure that I pronounce that right. And then I have to name where the file's coming from. Well, I went one too far. And so we're going to do, I believe it's directory list _ for me, and then TXT, just like that. And did I do it right? I did not. I'm a horrible human being. All right, let's find out where this is. All right, to find out where this is, I'm going to blow this up so everybody can see what it is. I'm going to do a quick LS. There's my documents folder. I am going to grab that documents folder. Let's do CD documents, just like that. And then I'll do another LS. And you can see here, I have directory list. Did I do lists? I did. Let's see, what command did I use? Let's go into this. I did list with a double, so let's get rid of that extra S in there and see if it doesn't run. It still doesn't like it. Did I screw up? I screw up every once in a while. Let's see, where are we at? Let's do a PWD. It's home user. You know what? I went into Windows mode. I went into Windows mode. I don't know what I was thinking. Here we go. Boom. There we go. Now it's running against that actual list of directories that I provided it. So it's using the list that I provided it. You'll also notice only the 200 on there. So it's going to go through. It's going to look for some more stuff. I have a little bit bigger of a list this time. I want to point this out. Where are we at? 141,783. If I scroll up to our last list here, where did we do it? Where are you at? It was only 30,088, so quite the difference there. Quite the difference in the number of directories available using my own customizable list. So it's going to take a little bit longer to go through it. Is it a better list? We're at 78 right now. Let's wait for this to finish up, and we can find that. All right, so it finished up a little bit more complex given the higher word list associated with the directory. We can see that it still only found 78. Do I like the customized word list versus what's currently on there? I think if I was in a CTF, I would definitely use that customizable directory list. It served me well in the past. I like it a little bit better. But for lab purposes like this, where I already know what it is, I feel like the regular one is okay. It just depends, right? If you remember, my old go-to was Dirb, and I love Dirb. I thought Dirb was great, but there were some problems with it. Dirb is single-threaded, which means it runs one request at a time. It's a little bit slower, whereas Feroxbuster is multi-threaded, can throw dozens, if not hundreds, of requests simultaneously. That means that Feroxbuster is significantly faster, especially for large or complex websites. And let's be honest here, if I'm going to a CTF, I want it to be quick. I want it to be slam. Let's go, right? I don't want to wait, because any edge that I have on a King of the Hill or a hackathon or anything like that, it's all about speed. And so speed is my friend. Now, when we're talking about other differences, recursion, if you remember from Dirb, there was no recursion in there. It's not going to dive deeper. You have to manually scan each individual folder. Once you find something, you have to go through. You have to look a little bit deeper. This takes a lot more time. So I like Feroxbuster when it comes to that. Dirb is minimal, right? Feroxbuster includes a ton of quality of life features that we didn't see in Dirb. We got status code filtering, we can save the output, colored results, thread control, a little bit more extensive targeting, and a cleaner interface, in my opinion. So in almost every way, I'm going to have to start using Feroxbuster. I really am. I think it's my go-to for now, right? Word lists, both have word lists. You can use it with word lists for sure. But honestly, the speed that Feroxbuster utilizes is just phenomenal. I love the options available to it. I really, really do. So I'm going to give Feroxbuster, obviously, for very obvious reasons, I'm going to give it heads and tails above Dirb. All right, that should get you everything you need to know to get started with Feroxbuster. From my understanding of what it is, to running your first scan, using custom word lists, and even seeing how it stacks up against other tools like Dirb, it's faster, it's more powerful, beginner-friendly. That's what this is all about. I hope this video helped you out. If it does, please hit that like, subscribe button at the very bottom. Turn those notifications on. We'll see you next time. I'm trying to do a hands-on video a week. We'll see if I can keep it up. We'll see you next time.